Beathard sets up deep in the pocket. Goes down the field for Smith.
Has some time. Right corner of the end zone. Touchdown!
Steps up, does it. Pass is caught. That'll move the sticks. Tyrone Tracy. There he goes. Tracy. Towards the end zone for the Iowa touchdown.
Broadcasting live. We are officially past the halfway point. This evening, I am Big Deke Energy. It's not as
God,
bad
he
yet.
looks so bad.
Jesus
Not as
Christ.
bad. No, this is through the Neil program. These are the two shirts Deacon Hill approved. One was Big Deke Energy, and then go big or go home, or I can't remember what the other one was. But anyway,
Geek around to find out.
what's the Michigan score? Is it over there?
It's over. So for the first time this season, we allowed double-digit points. We allowed 10 points today, unfortunately, to the Golden Gophers.
Quality loss by the Golden Gophers.
52-10 was the final score.
You guys covered. You've covered 2 in a row now.
We won by a measly 6 touchdowns today. 2 pick sixes. Yeah, I don't know what to say.
Well, after Ohio State, I think Michigan's in the clear lead of who's rolling through the Big Ten this year. That's my personal opinion.
I think the last couple games were kind of a testament to why, and even the Rutgers game as well, why we do the 3 easy game schedule. You know, JJ had a game against one of the worst teams we played this season, and he had 3 interceptions, and he has yet to make those mistakes again. So you get it out early. You do it against teams you know that can't beat you no matter what. Like you could throw 10 interceptions and you're going to beat those damn teams, even if it's 3-0. Like your team will come out on top. And then when you get to, week 5, week 6, and you really start to roll, and when you hit Big Ten play, you kind of look at every team as the same now. So, and then moving forward, I mean, we have, I hate to say it, but I think we have 3 guaranteed wins. We have home against Indiana, at Michigan State, and home against Purdue. So I don't see us losing those games. I'm assuming the spreads are going to be 30 on each of those games. And, and then we have a real first test at Penn State. So I think the next 3 weeks we can kind of have easy sailing, and we're really gearing up for the Penn State. Just make sure that we're not looking ahead too soon. But, today was a good one, man. McCarthy only had 14 completions for 219 yards. Corum only had 69 yards and a touchdown. McCarthy did have 2 rushing touchdowns and 2 defensive interceptions. So really, there was no one player who brought it home altogether. I mean, McCarthy played his part. The defense obviously is just, I would argue, the best defense in the league right now, just the way they've been playing. We haven't had to play as many tough games as some other teams have, but I like the way it's looking.
We covered that this morning, that Michigan probably won't get taken serious for any real first place votes until that Penn State game. If they go undefeated going into that Penn State game, and then of course beat Penn State, then you'll probably start seeing those first place votes come in for your Wolverines. But like right now, I thought it was going to be Texas, but with Texas losing to Oklahoma.
Well, and I think the only way we will get those first place nods is if Georgia loses a game between now and then. Now, if Georgia loses, then obviously it's just the next man up kind of thing. And since we've been rolling through these last couple weeks, I think we would probably just get the automatic nod. But yeah, to earn that first place vote, I think, just like what you said, we'd have to go into Penn State, maybe even beat Maryland pretty handily the week after, and we might not even get it if Georgia stays undefeated. And
But
in a
Georgia,
one game,
like y'all, the schedules have been kind of weak. Like Georgia
yeah,
played their first real test against Kentucky today, and then just dog lumped the shit out of Kentucky.
yeah,
I mean,
they beat them
so
pretty bad. Yeah, they beat them pretty bad. Let's talk about you guys. I'm assuming you talked about Nebraska this morning.
We did. We did do a recap. If you want me to, I can just do a recap of the scores in the Big Ten that happened today, and then we can go and break them down. We got Ohio State defeating Maryland 37-17. That score was a
Cover.
lot closer for a lot of that game. Wisconsin defeats Rutgers 24-13.
Rutgers covered.
Northwestern barely beats Howard 23-20. And Iowa barely pulls it out of their ass against Purdue 2014. So that was the Big Ten. Indiana, Michigan State, and Penn State all had byes this week. So where do you want to start here, Shane? What game are we gonna break down first?
Honestly, I don't have any more on the Wolverines. Cut and dry, I think 52-10. There's really not much to talk about in that game.
It's pretty much boring for you guys until November.
Honestly, so it got to the point to where when we had the first pick six, when you first watch your team play, you kind of on the edge of your seat. You're waiting for kickoff. The first few drives are all, even like the first week for us. It's just intriguing. You want to see what the team's going to look like, what everything's going to look like. When we had the first pick six, I sat back and I was like, all right, this game's over. I knew it was done. They kicked a cute little field goal and we let them score again towards the end of the game. But I was like, yeah, this is just over. And then we just consistently just went down the field and scored and scored and scored. And the entire time, what I think about in games like those is if I was a Golden Gophers fan, at what point do you just leave that fucking stadium and decide to go home?
well, I'll tell you, as being a fucking Nebraska fan, watching them get dismantled by Michigan last week. I took a nap. I did woman chores. I mean, I was dead to y'all.
They are not woman chores, May. They are house chores. You live in a house.
I just think, it definitely got to a point where I was like, all right, and when you start flipping to other games, like I was at work today, but we had some downtime. When you start flipping to other games while your team is playing, like, like, all right, this is like pretty much over. And, I'd see we get closer on the other side of the field. I'd switch it back. It's not, you're right. It's not really super interesting. We just need to keep rolling and we need to make this the year that we actually get to the championship game. And, whether we win or lose that game, we need to actually get there and kind of get over the hump of losing in that first weekend and then, or that first game and, hopefully bring it home for a championship. But that's the obviously the goal. We have a couple tough games coming up at the end of the season.
Let's talk about then your main competition right now that played this week, which is Ohio State. Now, Maryland Maryland's no joke this year. Like, they are a good mid-tier team. And watching them play against Ohio State, man, for 3.5 quarters, they are, for 2.5 quarters, they look like a team that could keep toe-to-toe with Ohio State. Ohio State obviously wore them down because that's, just what a blue blood program like that does. But what was your takeaways from that number 4 Ohio State win?
Obviously you guys know that I picked Ohio State to cover that game in our text thread. I was a little surprised when I believe it was 17-17 at halftime. I don't think Maryland scored again in the second half. The second half or most of the third and the fourth, I can't remember. I think it was the entire second half. I was a little surprised, yeah, but I kind of knew. I was like, well, I just don't think Maryland has I want to say the coaching. I just don't know if they have the game plan to play a team like Ohio State for 2 halves. Like, they obviously had a great first half game plan. Ohio State said, well, we're Ohio State. We're going to come back and hit you with the second half game plan. And I think that's kind of what Ohio State did. I at halftime when I saw the score, I said, well, maybe they won't cover, but I knew Ohio State would win. I knew at least by a touchdown, maybe 2. Them winning by 3 scores was more than I thought they would end up coming back by. But I mean, at the end of the day, Ohio State's Ohio State. They're always going to be a good team. And unfortunately for Maryland, they get Michigan and Ohio State in away games this year. That's just a bad draw. Like it might happen again with the Michigan game. They might play us tough, but to do that for 2 halves in the big house is going to be hard to do. And I don't know. I mean, Tua's little brother, Tagovailoa, threw 2 picks today.
Yeah.
Tulio threw. I think both were in the second half. So it's just, it gets loud, it gets rampant. You make one mistake that turns to 2 mistakes. Yep. Iowa learned that the hard way last year with Ohio State. And I think Michigan's very similar. So I think Maryland, like you said, is a good team. I think they're probably the 3rd best team or 4th best team in the Big Ten this year. Them in Wisconsin, I think, would have a good game if they played each other. But I think Penn State, Michigan, or Ohio State wins that game on a neutral court or neutral field, rather, 9 out of 10 times. So, I don't know. Maryland's interesting to watch. Is this Tulia's last year in college? Does he have another year after this?
Isn't it?
Yeah. I think he's a senior.
So they're kind of making a run this year. It's unfortunate that they have to be in the East as well and also be good. So it's like we kind of have, and it just kind of goes to that dynamic we talked about earlier in the season where the East is just kind of a powerhouse this year. I mean, they have been the last few years the top end, but now 4 of our 7 teams are competing and really good. And in the West, you kind of have a toss-up of what's going on in all around, whether it's the bottom, the middle, or the top of that conference or division, rather. So I don't know. Maryland's good. I thought they played a good game. I think they might only finish the season with 2 or 3 losses, but it's probably going to be against Ohio State at Michigan. I think they lose both those games. Well, they obviously lost one today.
They'll end up being the 4th best team in the Big Ten this year. I think so. If they beat Penn State.
So they do get a home game against Penn State. So if they can go, if Penn State loses,
that's a big upset if they can.
If they can beat Penn State at home, if Ohio State loses to Penn State, there could be some mix up there. I'm not sure. I know at the beginning of the season, I did call Ohio State a 2-loss team this year. I think if Ohio State does lose a game, the only other one that they have a chance of losing besides the Michigan game is the Penn State game. So just kind of waiting and seeing. I think Ohio State is vulnerable more so than they were last year. So it could happen. I don't think Maryland will be able to get over that hump. I think right now, Penn State, Michigan, and Ohio State, the 3 of those teams, I think they could all beat each other. I just don't know if Maryland is like just a notch below those teams right now for me anyway. So we'll see what they have to come. I mean, upcoming, I don't think their schedule is too hard. They have Illinois, Northwestern, and then the Penn State game. So they have 2 games they should win easily, and then they get Penn State at home, and then they actually travel to Husker Nation right after that. So that's going to be a rough one for you guys. But that'd also be a great upset for Nebraska if you guys could.
Listen to that false hope. Listen to that false hope spark up yet again. Could be. Never got us out. Never got us out.
Okay, so tell me, let's shift. Tell me this new quarterback, how's he doing in Iowa? What did Kinnick look like today?
Well, so first of all, Kinnick always sells out. It's similar to the Nebraska type of tradition, I guess, over there with having tickets. Iowa, you can read the box score, right? And it
6
is
for 20.
It is exactly
at one point he had a QBR of 1.1.
It's
6 for 20, 1 touchdown, 1 interception.
That's what Cade was doing for the last four weeks. So it's nothing. Time of possession, we got beat 35 here. I got it pulled up here. We get beat again with time of possession by I think it's just a little over 10 minutes. You had 24 minutes, they had 35. Yep. There you go.
So my favorite stat here of this entire thing is Iowa. Your quarterback, this Hill man, 6 for 20, 110 yards, touchdown, interception. You had 1 receiver targeted 10 times. He had 5 of those receptions and 97 yards. There was only 2 receivers who caught a pass today. 5 went to one reception to the other. So he obviously was just staring at this man, Eric.
Dude, I watched it. I watched it on Peacock a little bit. Those balls he was throwing, those things were hideous. I mean, they were 8 foot over the receiver. They were nowhere in the building. Like,
And you know, my favorite part about this box score is he had 2 rush attempts for negative 25 yards.
Well, that's what, sacks?
Well, no, he had 1 sack for 10 yards is how it went down, and 2 separate rush attempts for negative 25 yards is how it goes down.
He's 6'3", 260. I mean,
Yeah.
he's a big boy.
Because of him, your team today had 181 rushing yards. Because of his negative
Yep.
25, you would have had 200 rushing yards, but they
We
counted
had-
as negative.
We end up with 291 yards. We get beat again in total yards this game, 343 to 291. Passing yards, we get blown out, 247 to 110. But rushing, we hold Purdue under 100 yards. We had 181. 2 penalties again. That's huge.
It's really good.
And out of the 3 turnovers, only 1 was on us. So won the turnover battle. So the football's getting cleaned up a little bit as far as the turnovers. I know that was a big issue in practice this week for the Hawkeye camp. But we're not good.
Break defense.
I think the time of possession is still big. I mean, time of possession doesn't always tell the story, but a lot of times it does, especially when a 10-minute difference. Like today, would you believe it if I said Minnesota had the ball longer than Michigan?
No,
because they did.
Michigan though I heard a stat. Was I driving over here, or they're like in the top teams with like Air Force and or not? What was it? Something about their time of possession. They rank like the lowest time of possession
because we just score so quickly.
Yeah,
Minnesota today had the ball for 30 minutes and 43 seconds. We had the ball for the additional 28, 48. So
and that's different when your defense is playing with a lead versus your defense trying to hold
it
on.
Is. No, it is. I get that. But it's like
possession when your defense is out there.
So that's a 2-minute difference. A 2-minute difference can be negligible. Iowa has quite often it had more than a 10-minute difference, which is huge usually. I'm surprised you guys did win this game. I watched the end of it though. Was it handily? Like, did you guys have the ball to finish, or did they have a chance?
No, they never had a chance. They got a garbage score at the end.
Okay, so they were down by 13.
They were always down. The closest it got, I think, was 10-7 going into half. But Iowa, I don't know what to say about the Hawkeyes.
What happens next week at Wisconsin?
I think we lose. I think we lose big time to Wisconsin. I think it's a double-digit loss to Wisconsin. I don't think it's a good game.
Is it on Peacock?
No, thank God. It's not.
All 8 viewers of Peacock. Like, I had to sign in. I had to provide a password and a username to watch that fucking football game. Excuse my language, but I had to put in effort to watch Iowa Purdue.
Yeah. No one should do that. Have to ever do that.
So that was a rough one. I was actually surprised Rutgers also covered against Wisconsin. When that game started, I think it was 17-0 or something like that, and I was like, oh, Wisconsin's going to easily just blow Rutgers out, and then Rutgers came back. They only allowed 1 more touchdown, so good second half adjustments, but still just not enough from Rutgers to put it over the edge. And then I have no words for Northwestern. There's 0.
I called that. Did I not call that?
I didn't. I haven't listened. I will go and listen tomorrow to the episode you guys recorded this morning. But
so you haven't heard our picks?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, do you have the list of the picks?
No, they're at home.
All right. Well, we just have to.
Northwestern was expected to cover by the amount of points they scored in total today. So that was it was so bad. I mean, I couldn't even watch that game. It was just such a garbage game. It was unwatchable to me.
I think Corey's the only one that got that.
Yeah, I did.
You picked Howard to cover?
Yeah, you, Shane, you and I picked.
Oh, dude, Northwestern.
I'm
pretty sure Nebraska. If Nebraska doesn't beat Northwestern by 35 points, I'm going to be upset next week. Because it's in Lincoln. Like, they better just destroy the
Northwestern's weird though.
The pussy
weird. They're just weird.
It makes no sense to me. They don't make any sense to me. So, kind of a slower day in the Big Ten. There were some other interesting outcomes of today, though. That were big. Biggest one to start today was Oklahoma beating Texas, I think. Oklahoma, or they So that
Now
means
I missed what happened. When I looked, it looked like Texas had the ball with like 30 seconds left.
Yeah.
And then I looked up and Texas had just let Oklahoma score. So was there like a pick six that happened there or a fumble or what happened? Like, or did
I don't know because I was in the same boat as you. When I turned it on, I saw Dylan Gabriel scoring a touchdown, and I was like, "What? I thought Texas had that in the bag."
so it looked like at the very end, it just said that there was a 3-yard touchdown pass thrown by Oklahoma after a field goal attempt. So they just went 5 plays and 60. Oklahoma went 5 plays, 61 yards in a minute at the end of the game.
damn.
That's what happened.
Can't have it.
So they just
Damn,
let
Texas
Texas.
had that in
Texas
the bag.
is
I looked
reverting.
down.
You know what that was? Is that was Big 12 defense is what happened at the end of that game there, and Oklahoma just went old school Lincoln Riley, and they just went down the field and scored in 5 fucking plays.
Well, this is bad for Alabama. This is bad loss for Alabama.
So does this mean Texas beats Bama, Oklahoma beats Texas? Bama is now. Is that how that works? Right? Because Texas beat Bama in Bama, and then Texas lost today at home.
Yes.
That means Oklahoma is better than Alabama, right? That's
Yeah.
all natural. That's the only natural.
Yeah,
order
you would
things
think.
there.
That's
So-
why I'm saying it's a
so I
bad
guess-
loss for
I
Alabama.
guess Oklahoma is a legit team. That's the only other thing I can think. There's no reason why Oklahoma shouldn't run the Big 12 and possibly run right into the college football playoffs this year.
What is their rank again?
They were 12th. Oh, Texas was 3rd. I had Texas first still, so I'll drop Texas a little bit. Texas will stay above Bama in my rankings. Oklahoma is, I guess, a top 5 team. I mean, so it's like I'll have to relook at those rankings there, because we also have the other one that's like, where do I put Louisville? Louisville beat Notre Dame today. Notre Dame barely lost
this
to
is what I'm
Ohio
saying.
State.
That's what I'm saying. Ohio State is false. They are a false good team. They are in the fake. They are in a fake position right now. They are at best.
If Maryland had better clock management going into halftime, I don't think Ohio State gets that momentum and edge and ends up doing what they
And
did.
then there was some, I agree. And then LSU beat Missouri at home. I had Missouri ranked pretty high as well. Missouri had that game handled for quite a while, and they kind of let it slip at the end there. So LSU picks up a win.
shows some character. They show some character.
They already screwed themselves with losing 2 games already. I mean, they're 4-2, losing 2 games with. Now, unfortunately, if this was next year and we were doing the new playoff system, the 2 games probably wouldn't matter. You'd still have a chance, but now you have no chance to make the playoffs, especially when there's going to be other teams that they're going to favor more. Other big games that I'm trying to look for that maybe happened today. That there was one other one that interested
Washington
me
State lost.
Washington State lost. That was the game. Did you guys catch that game at all?
I did not know.
Bits and pieces of it.
I mean, Bama barely won too, so that was they barely squeaked out over A&M today. Georgia blowing out Kentucky. Colorado beat 1-4 Arizona State by 3.
And did you see Shadur? He goes over with his wristwatch
again.
And just shows it, like flexes right in front of the student section at Arizona State. Like, bro, they're 1-5 or 1-4. Like, Arizona State is doing.
And they barely won the game.
Yeah, I'm surprised CU fans didn't storm the field at Arizona State.
I actually had a CU fan today. So we at work today, we transported a patient, and their family members had season tickets to CU because it was up in Fort Collins we were at today. So they were right next to the stadium, and they said, "Oh yeah, we have season tickets," and we were talking about it, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm a Michigan fan." They're like, "Oh, CU would give Michigan a good game." I was like, "No, they would not." I was in the nicest way. I was in the middle of working. I was like, I don't think so. I don't think that'd be a very good game at all.
Please let that happen. Please.
Yes.
Please.
Oh, dude, that would be hilarious. I don't know.
I will go buy a Chad Henne jersey and I will put it on. You'll never see me in those Michigan colors, but I
would go buy a Harbaugh Michigan jersey from back in his playing day, just number 4. So Louisville, good win for Louisville. Mississippi beat Arkansas barely, another ranked team. I mean,
Clemson barely won.
Yeah, Clemson's been not good all season, man. They've shown early. The other one, So Fresno State was ranked, and they just lost today to Wyoming. I actually had Wyoming ranked earlier in the season, and then they lost to at Texas. So get this: Wyoming has beat Texas Tech, App State, New Mexico, and then Fresno State, who was a ranked team. Their only loss is at Texas. Do they have a case for a top 25 team? Like, you know what I mean? Like that's so like that'd be interesting for a Mountain West team, another Mountain West team to get up in there. Currently, I don't know if you guys are seeing this, but
Yeah, I'm
Arizona,
watching it.
USC is getting blown, or now they just scored 17-7, and they're losing to the 3-2 Arizona Wildcats at home right now. So
And Arizona played Washington really good last week too.
they did. I
So-
think it's probably going to be one of those games where it looks close now, and then at the end of it, they're going to win by 21 points. I assume that's what's going to happen with USC. Oregon
That's
State
right on.
barely beating Cal. It's 21-17 right now, and Georgia Tech just upset 17 Miami 23-20. So
Wow.
Miami just lost to 2-3 Georgia Tech at home. And I had Miami ranked really high in my rankings. They were favored by 19 today, and they got upset. So, a
Wow.
lot of interesting games today. Actually, a lot of
Shake up.
interesting
This
games.
this is the best time for college football right now. Just like these games that are coming down and no one knows, no one sees that. It's a horrible time to be betting.
So, did either of you pick Minnesota to win today?
No.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to
No.
make sure.
I think we all rode Michigan through and
Yeah.
through on that.
Yeah, we
one.
rode that blue wave.
Okay.
I think I picked Ohio State too, didn't I? Both. I think
I picked Ohio State to cover. I remember I picked Ohio State to cover. I picked Northwestern to cover and Wisconsin. Neither of them did cover either. I did pick Nebraska to cover the previous week when we discussed that game. And I think I picked Iowa to cover. I think you guys did, right? It was -2.5. So
I picked Purdue.
Did you?
Yeah. Yeah. Go
So
fuck
I think
yourself.
I went 4-2 in my spread bets this week.
I just, I saw 6 completed passes today, gentlemen. That was my
Can't have
day.
it. Can't have
12
it.
first downs, though. We had 12 first downs.
Your defense, I was listening to it on Sirius Radio, and the old timers calling it on Sirius Radio for Iowa, they got super giddy and excited
So
when Cooper Jejin was making plays and everything else. It was fun listening to them.
So have you seen so your
Ed Podolak and Gary Dolphin.
stat line for Hill today, 6 for 20, 110 yards, 1 pick, 1 interception, right?
He had a beautiful throw for 22 yards.
Would you believe it if I told you another Big Ten quarterback had a worse day than him today?
Trying to think of the games who all played. I'm going to say the Minnesota quarterback had the worst game. Minnesota or the Wisconsin quarterback?
Minnesota, 5 for 15, 52 yards, 2 interceptions.
I can't
Ashley
even
and
really
Cal
laugh.
Mattis or whatever.
Both interceptions were pick sixes, to put it at that. So he did have a touchdown. He was sacked twice for 15 yards. And he also had negative rushing yards, -9. Not as many as Hill, but still -9. 52 passing yards is that's horrible. 5 completions, 5 for 15. So he did throw it 5 times less. But yeah,
how many attempts?
15. So he technically had a better completion percentage because he was 33% and you were at 30 for Hill, but they were, he had half the yards. Half the yards. Right. So I really want to see Gophers Hawkeyes play. Like, I think that'd be a great game right now.
It'll be it'll either be, man, is that next week?
Do you play them this?
Or do we have a bye week? We should have a bye week.
You don't play them at all this. Oh yeah, do you play them on the
Wisconsin every
Oh
week.
yeah, next week. Well, the week after next, because you do have a bye. Your next game is in Kinnick against Minnesota.
And so we have bye weeks this coming up weekend, Corey? Iowa and Nebraska? Because Nebraska's next game is Northwestern on the 21st.
Oh, yeah. So I guess you guys will have a bye week as well. And our bye week, we have 2 more games before our bye week. We get a bye week between MSU and Purdue. So we have a couple more weeks before ours. So we can actually, if you guys want to watch the soon to be intriguing Michigan State game. We can all stream that together.
Yeah, man. Here's the
Actually, I
problem.
think we should stream the Michigan at Penn State game on 11/11, November 11th. I think that's the game we should live stream for Michigan.
Yeah, that's a good call.
And then we'll just all plan on streaming both because our Nebraska, Iowa, Michigan, Ohio State as the kickoff the same time for rival week, so we can watch both those games together. So that'll be like we can just plan on live streaming those 2 weeks and then kind of skip the rest. And then if our teams get into the championship game and into the playoffs, we can figure out other games then too. But
I'm down for live streaming the national championship game.
yeah, that'd be fun with no matter who's in it. That'd be fun to do. So that would be fun. Any other comments on the games today? Oh, we can. Do you guys want to? Have you guys gone over the standings at all?
No, we haven't.
All right,
Let's do standings and then we'll wrap it up.
All right, standings. Big Ten East. We took a lead today, so we have one more win in the conference than Ohio State. We're 3-0, 6-0 overall. Ohio State, Penn State. Oh, Penn State's also 3-0 in the conference. Only 5-0 overall though, so technically we're ahead of them just because of the extra win. Ohio State's 2-0 in the conference, 5-0 overall, and then there's Maryland 2-1 in the conference. Rutgers, Michigan State, and Indiana. We don't need to talk about those teams. In the West, do you guys know who leads the West right now?
Iowa.
Wisconsin is 2-0 in the West.
Really?
Iowa is 2-1.
Oh no, what did I see? Oh yeah, I came across the Cornhusker thing where it was thanks Purdue for fucking all of us in the Big Ten West because you had a chance to keep Iowa out of the game. You know,
so yep. So you guys are 5th right now, tied with Northwestern, Minnesota. Since Minnesota beats you, so I guess they're technically ahead of you. And then Purdue, all of you are 1 and 2. Illinois, and Indiana, and Michigan State are the only 3 teams without a Big Ten win so far this season. Which one gets a win first?
Say what?
Michigan State. Who gets a win first in the Big Ten? Michigan State, Indiana, or Illinois? Michigan State plays at Rutgers next week. Indiana plays at Michigan. Okay, it's not that. And then Illinois plays at Maryland. So I think it's
okay. So week 8.
I think it's Michigan State.
No, I think they go 0-3. I don't think they're winning any.
You don't think any of those games? So the weekend
Rutgers is beating Michigan State.
Okay.
Indiana's going to get dog walked by Michigan, and Illinois
versus Maryland.
Maryland.
So then the week after that, Michigan State plays Michigan.
Nope.
And then Indiana plays at Penn State.
Nope.
So we're 0-5. And then Illinois plays Wisconsin.
Nope.
So then the week after that, Illinois plays at home or at Minnesota.
Maybe.
Still probably no. I would say we'll say maybe 0-7 right now. Indiana plays Wisconsin. Probably not. Michigan State
plays Nebraska. Right?
Nebraska in Lincoln. Is that the game? That the game?
We're getting it. We're not losing to Michigan State.
Because here's what happens.
Cornak's last name is Kim. We're not losing.
If Nebraska wins that game, the only way that those teams win a game is when they play each other the second to last week of the season.
Good on them. Sucks to suck.
I'm saying Illinois wins first. I think Illinois has a shot between the Minnesota game and the who's the other shitty team they're playing?
Well, they play at Maryland
Wisconsin.
and then Wisconsin. Do you think they might? Do you think Illinois could beat Wisconsin?
I think the.
Oh, that's a Brett Bielema tie.
No, dude. I think what happens is Illinois plays Indiana on 11-11, and then Michigan State plays Indiana on 11-18. So 11-11 is the first time one of those teams can get a win. It's gonna be Illinois or it's gonna be Indiana, and that's I don't think any of those teams win a game till then.
I'm picking Illinois.
Illinois, Wisconsin.
Illinois against the field. You guys against the field?
Hey, I'll read it to you right now. So far, this can't be right. How many Indiana? How many points have they scored? Oh, that doesn't make sense. Indiana has been outscored by 47 points this year. Illinois has been outscored by 69.
That's gross. That's not good. What Illinois, like their defensive line is good, but their Luke
Oh no, there it is.
Altmaier, he's not good. The
I read that
transfer
wrong.
quarterback from where'd he come from?
Yeah.
Purdue, or no, he come from. Gosh dang, they just talked about it playing against Nebraska. Wherever he come
Actually-
from, he wasn't very good.
Yeah, actually, Penn State is really close. I looked at that wrong. Penn State is really close. So points for right now, the leading for Big Ten is Michigan with 224 points scored. Points against, we've allowed 40.
Well, and we went over there. We went over the best defenses in the Big Ten right now, and Michigan leads that with allowing 6 points a game.
Well,
So
I went up a little today.
now it's
probably.
so now it's like what
6.8 or something.
Yeah, 7.1.
Well, and so what I was going to bring up there. So through through 6 games. Actually, it shows Penn State's only played 5 games. Let me make sure that's right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, because they had a bye. Actually, Penn State's arguably more impressive right now. So through 6 games, we've scored 224 points. Through 5 games, Penn State scored 203. So they're only 21 points behind us in total offense. If they score more than 21 points to make up that, they'll be better. We've allowed 40 points in 6 games. They've only allowed 48 in 5. So if they give up, well, I mean, I guess the points is that we've already allowed less and less, but it's still so our defense is better, but their offense is arguably better than ours right now in terms of just statistics. So they're looking really good. Ohio State's actually lacking a little bit behind those. Yeah. And then the next lowest is Rutgers at 88 points allowed.
Still, Rutgers. Yeah, Rutgers. I think ended up in that top 6 list.
Yeah, that's impressive. That's impressive by Rutgers. Minnesota's actually allowed the most points this season. No, Purdue. No, Illinois. These fucking garbage teams, dude.
All right.
You can't talk about our Big Ten West like that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Don't you dare throw mud over here.
All right. So the top 4 teams of the East play the West. Does it go 4-0?
3-1.
Who loses? Maryland?
Clean sweep.
Maryland.
Maryland loses against 1, 2, 3, 4. Minnesota?
No.
Minnesota's not number 4.
Yeah, they're 4th right now.
In the West.
Technically,
well, yeah, but how many teams are tied for 3rd?
Technically, Northwestern is in that conversation.
No, you're going over all.
I'm looking right on the rankings right here.
All right, so it'd be 1 versus 1.
So you have Wisconsin, Iowa.
Yeah.
And then
no, it'd be Iowa, Michigan. It'd be Iowa, Michigan.
Well, no. Right now, if you went from top to top, it'd be Michigan versus Wisconsin.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's right.
Okay, and then it'd be Ohio State, Iowa.
We might win that.
Okay. With what quarterback?
Okay. Penn State versus Northwestern.
Northwestern is not.
They're technically 3rd right now. They're technically 3rd. They have the same overall record as Minnesota and Nebraska at 3-3, and all of them are 1-2 in the conference. But technically, Northwestern has a win over Minnesota, so they're over Minnesota. Minnesota beat Nebraska, so that means you have to go Nebraska, Minnesota, Northwestern.
Wait, what about points forward and points against? Can we do it that way? Does that put Nebraska?
If you did points for, Purdue would be in the conversation instead. Purdue has scored 154 points. Nebraska scored 114, so they scored 4 more points than you this season. Well, You've allowed 126. They've allowed 168.
As representatives of the West, we would come up with our own
Who's the
list.
next 2? So
Wisconsin,
Iowa 1 and 2.
Right, and then
I would say,
definitely would be Nebraska.
Okay, so it'd be Nebraska versus Penn State.
But I want to put Nebraska at 4.
Okay, so Nebraska plays Maryland.
Yeah, and I think Nebraska wins that game for sure.
And
then for 3rd, let's put Northwestern there because whoever we put there is going to lose. So
you could throw Purdue there if you wanted to.
Purdue sucks.
I think Minnesota's the better team.
Who's got the best quarterback out of it?
No, but Minnesota lost to Northwestern. So who fucking knows, dude?
Give me Purdue.
Minnesota's quarterback had 50 yards today, so it's not him.
Give me Purdue. Give me Purdue as
so Purdue. So Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State win, and then you think Nebraska beats Maryland.
Oh, it's a 3-1, possibly 2-2, possibly a split. Depends. Are they playing night at Kinnick?
It doesn't. I
Is
don't think it matters.
Ohio State playing
I don't
that
think-
game
I mean, for
at
all we
Kinnick
know,
at
for all we
7:30
know,
at night?
for all we know, your quarterback was seeing night tonight with his eyes closed. So there's what are you talking?
Hey, I saw Spencer Petras throw a perfect game against Ohio State in a night game, and he has
I'm
never
pretty sure.
done that ever.
I'm pretty
since.
sure when your quarterback lined up for throws, he had his eyes open until the moment he decided to actually throw the ball, and then he just closed it. He's like,
Little fun fact for you: did you know that's the difference between a heifer when it charges you and a bull when it charges you? A bull will
What?
close its eyes, but the female cow keeps her eyes open. So if you ever get charged by a cow,
I'm pretty sure I'm not looking at its eyes if I'm getting charged by a cow.
well, just heads up.
But you know who
can
was looking at
sideswipe
the
bull.
You know
But,
who was looking at eyes today? Purdue's defense.
Okay.
I mean, who's your third string quarterback?
Dude, you need to call what's his name back from last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the kid that-
Is it too late? Is it too late for you guys to get is it Sims from Nebraska? Is it
Hey,
too late?
we would take Harburg.
Harburg?
Yeah, we trade.
You give me Cooper DeJean?
We'll give you Cade.
No, I need.
If only there was an
I
old
need a
Michigan
corner.
quarterback you could have.
It's quarterbacks for quarterbacks here, and you get to keep Sims.
I'll give you. I'll give you Chubba Purdy.
Oh,
I'll give you Brock's little brother.
Oh my god.
He's a 4-star out of Florida.
I might take that. All right, I'll give you that.
I think I would take current Jim Harbaugh over any of those names.
Okay. All right. You know what? I can't wait until next month when you actually play a real football game. All right. So go fuck yourself. He's just like, yeah, today is 89-3 win.
Yeah.
Michigan looked really good. I got
You know how much stuff I got done at the house and around town? I
What
didn't
did
even
you
watch.
what did you call them? Girl chores earlier.
Yeah.
Stop doing that. You're driving away our female Big Ten audience, which is 5 women.
Yeah, well, it's not. It's definitely not.
Well, Big Ten women are built to do chores. So, I mean,
No, I think Michigan State's already driven away one Big Ten female fan this year.
that's very true.
Oh yeah, we talked about that. We didn't get your take on the extra news coming out of Michigan State this week.
I forget
The
the
professor.
story. The professor that was.
that was Heisenberg.
Yeah.
He built a meth lab in Louisiana, escaped to Michigan,
And then
became
changed his name, a professor.
a professor in Michigan.
I mean, the dude was obviously did he teach science? Like, was he a chemistry teacher? That'd be
It'd be funny
hilarious.
if he was like
Real
liberal art.
life Breaking Bad.
He was like liberal arts teacher. He's like, listen,
Yeah.
guys, need you to draw your emotions today.
Mm, yeah.
Take these.
Close your
pills.
eyes. Feel the energy. Feel
Feel
the
the-
energy.
Like a super zen dude.
Oh, Jesus.
All right.
All right, guys.
Sometime this week, we should consider maybe doing like 30 minutes and going over the new schedules that dropped. At
Okay.
least for our 3 teams. See how we feel about them. It gives us time to sort of, build up our list. See how
Sure,
we're gonna.
I'm down.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Yeah, just let me know.
All right.
All right, boys.
Trying to break the day. Martinez up the sideline. Still running. Look out. Taylor Martinez. Look around. He's got a lead. Martinez. Whoa. Taylor Martinez. Touchdown. Husker. Play fake. Beathard sets up deep in the pocket. Goes down the field for Smith. He's got it. Smith. Touchdown. 85 yards. Iowa.
Has some time. Right corner of the end zone. Touchdown!